Hello? Hello? Can anyone hear me? No, thank you for all coming. I know it's late. We figured that the best time to kind of talk to people is in the evening, and for it to be quick and just a quick run through of what we're doing in response to the Rochester review, and engagement steps. So what I'll do is I'll probably get started. Yeah, it's pretty much 8 o'clock. What I might do just for the short term is just mute some people just shortly while I go through, so I'm getting some feedback my end. But you feel free to ask questions in the chat section. What I'll probably do is attend to those at the end, if you have any specific questions, and I'll unmute kind of halfway through just so you can ask verbal questions. So right, yes, what are we doing? Let me share my screen. So here we go. Okay, so zoom it. Right. Can you all see that screen? So I've unmuted now, so you should be able to hear. Can you just see on the screen what I've got there?
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Thank
No.
you. No, okay.
Oh, yes.
Should be blue. Sorry, we're using a new technology and we're not overly familiar. Okay, so I mean it's a little bit of a story. So just kind of trawling back to 2014 when they brought out the new national curriculum. At that point, we were faced with a bit of a choice on what we needed to do with regards to children working below their age-related expectation, because the removal of levels didn't make it particularly easy for teachers to show small amounts of progress where they needed to. So, I mean, at that time, we did a new breakdown. We reinterpreted the P scales to deal with the fact that it wasn't in line with the new national curriculum, and there was a bit of a gap between the bottom of the P scales and the national curriculum. So we did that, and we kind of reinvented the levels, and we kind of went along for a little while. Just doing that, and what we kind of noticed at that point was a lot of people were saying that our P1 to P4, especially around PMLD, it wasn't supporting students and teachers as well as it possibly could. So we actually decided at that point to redo our P1 to P4 in a slightly different context. And then kind of fast forward to the Roch review coming out and its recommendations, and what we found is that what they were proposing wasn't a million miles away from what we had done. And at that point, we decided to basically just change a few bits and make it fit in line with what the Roch review was saying. So, namely, putting it into line with kind of the four broad areas of needs, so cognition and learning, communication, interaction, social, emotional, mental health, sensory and physical, but more specifically these 7 areas of engagement. So we kind of moved what we had done already and made it fit in with that. In terms of the CLDD project and what it is, our concept is different to what the CLDD was, but we couldn't make ours fit to that. We had to do something kind of special to make it work. And whether or not it'll actually be accepted long term, we don't know. The government haven't yet officially kind of recognised that part of the Rochester review, dealing with kind of children not yet engaged in subject-specific learning. They've not really said yes or no as to whether it's going to go ahead. They're currently trialling it, and they're looking to implement it kind of 2019 at this moment in time. But yeah, if I give you a breakdown, I'm just going to change what I'm sharing quickly. Here we go. If I just click here, you should now be able to see our main. No, main website. Just expand that out a little bit. There we go. You should be able to see our main website. I don't know if any of you have been on and had a look, but we have a specific section here called Rochester Review. So a lot of what I'm talking about today is contained on our site. But under the main area Rochester Review, we have proposed changes, and it's a PDF document. It kind of goes into great detail about what we're doing, but it also kind of gives an idea of what we're doing specifically around engagement steps and for children engaged in subject-specific learning progression steps. So here we have cognition and learning, communication, interaction, social, emotional, mental health, sensory and physical. And inside cognition and learning, we have the 7 areas of engagement. And then we also have as well the areas for communication, interaction, so on and so forth. And if I just go a little bit higher, what you'll see is we have a new scale which runs from engagement step 1 through to engagement step 6. Now, the advice of the Rochford Review really was to go to around P4. When we kind of initially started on this journey, we sent out a trial. Some of you may have sent in feedback and said what you thought was best, but we asked how high should we go? Should we just stick to the P4 or should we go a little bit higher? And the feedback we got was to go a little bit higher, was to go to the P5, P6 mark. And that's exactly what we've done. And the reason being, if you have children who aren't yet engaged in subject-specific learning, rather than it stopping at P4 and you kind of sitting there wondering, you know, this child is not really ready to go into subject-specific learning, and I don't want to give them that push. By giving them a little bit of an overlap, what you can actually do is really show those spiky profiles, have them work a little bit higher in those areas, and then when they are ready across the board, move them into subject-specific learning. So that's kind of what we've done. What you'll also be able to do is, you know, with the breakdown, you'll be able to show, you'll be able to use these for your EHCP plans. And yeah, use the targets that we have. So again, some of you may have received sample printouts, things like that. In terms of using, okay, there we are. So if I go to individual assessments, just to give you an idea of the breakdown, if I go to engagement steps at the top, let's say we'll stick with engagement, and I maybe go for anticipation and go for step 4. So in terms of breakdown, and if you've used B squared previously, the kind of the layout is the same, and you use it in a very, very similar way. You still have access to the encounter, the awareness, the attention response. So it's not binary in its approach. It's not a case of can or can't do it. And to be honest, you know, the difference between an encounter and awareness for some children is massive. So being able to show that is very important. One of the key things we're kind of driving as well is, and it's always been the case with our software, but it's just kind of reiterating for people that we don't trap you in a particular area. Just because a student is working at engagement step 4 doesn't mean you can't go into 5 and 6 and see what they can do in there. And that's really how it's intended to be used, to use it across the board. I think something the director always says, it's not necessarily how deep the valley is, it's how wide the valley is as well. So being able to show that is important. It gives a true idea of what they can and what they can't do, or what they've not yet covered. What we've also got as well in our CSAM are additional graphs that you'll be able to use that can show progress, not just in one level, which is something always people say that you can only show it in one level. We can actually stack that up and show progress across the board. In every level in which they're working, which kind of takes on the concept of assessments mastered. You know, here when I run this, I'm not just showing what they can do in one level, I'm showing every skill that they've attained across the board in order to build that true picture for that student. So, you know, in terms of engaging with the parents, we've got different screens you can use. You know, a lot of them the same, but some of them in our analysis module will be kind of really beneficial for that. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're heading, what we're doing. You know, and in terms of evidencing, you know, something else the Rochford Review was talking about is being able to engage with parents, because, you know, there's a proven link between parents' engagement with their child's learning to the outcomes. So, you know, we have our evidence platform, which kind of came in just in time, so you're able to actually not only record and say, yes, they've mastered a particular assessment point, what you can also do is link that assessment to a particular piece of evidence, and then if you want to share it with a parent or even with other teachers, so they can see exactly what's going on. So yeah, I mean, open to questions. I'm aware it's 8 o'clock at night. If I was just trying to check through, see if anyone's asked me any questions as yet. Somebody's asked, will this be made available after? Yes, we will be. We'll be working. Sorry, just reading through. Yes, we're making this available afterwards. Probably tomorrow morning. We'll make the video available. Probably put it on something like YouTube, just so anyone can watch it. Somebody's asked, how does this compare with the engagement profiling pilot, which is currently in process, linking to Barry Carpenter's work? Honest answer is, I don't know. I know somebody who might know. That would be Alex. He'll be able to. I can give you his email. I'll put his email up. You can email him with kind of questions that specifically. Personally, I've not seen that, so I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to say. Is there any kind of verbal questions? I'm aware that some people are calling in via telephone and can't see anything that I'm doing. Does anyone have any kind of questions they'd like to ask?
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, the question I have is, I've got a boy who's in year 4, but he's working well below and cannot access the curriculum, so this program is perfect for him. However, because he's in year 4, I've got his name on B squared from year 3. Now, how do I change it so that I can track him without it being an issue? Because right now it looks like I can only have him on the year 4 levels.
Do you mean you're working towards end of year outcome, year 4?
Yeah.
Basically, all you would need to do is convert him from working on years to working on levels. So you would just go into my B squared and just change that over. The only thing is that there's very little commonality between the two, because the end of year outcome is far broader than the level breakdown.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Anyone else have any other questions? If you have kind of specific questions about how the engagement steps was made, around the pedagogy of it, so that's Alex's email. So specifically to Tom, who's asked a question about Barry Carpenter's work. If you want to message Alex, I mean, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, there is a lot. Yeah, any other questions? But if you have any specific questions, we can do one-to-ones, things like that. We can do one-to-one WebExes. I just know sometimes it's quite difficult because it's either blocked or you're teaching. So we'll probably do a few more of these anyway, and we'll learn from this and do a little bit differently.
The technical problems. That's brilliant. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Difference being, so somebody's asked, what's the difference between the current B squared subject specific and the progression steps? There is, the difference is mainly down to the fact that it goes from, it starts from P4 at this point. We've moved away from the concept of P scales, being that, at certainly a subject specific point, they're going to be disapplied at the end of this academic year. And it's now in line with the, where is it? It's here. We've moved it into line with, we'll be releasing this as well, our standardized, there's the summative end of key stage assessment framework. So it fits in a little bit better with that. But it's all about kind of making sure these steps fit better for what you need. Alongside P1 to P, right, P1 type is going to disappear, or is this alongside? We're not going to pull anything. You will still be able to have access to the P scales. That's absolutely fine. Only thing I'm not aware of, not sure of, is the fact that in the Rochford Review, and the government have kind of said, we agree that the P scales are not fit for purpose. You can read into that however you will. I don't know whether you can or you can't continue to use them. So you can continue to use them alongside. You would need to kind of switch between them. But generally, the idea is if they're around P1 to P4, then you would be looking at a non-subject specific approach at that point. When the progression steps will be available. Progression steps, the green part here is available now. You can buy that. What we're including, what we'll be doing in with it is the communication, interaction, social, emotional, mental health, and sensory physical profiles that will run alongside that. That's probably about 2 years away. We will release it as we go, and you would use that alongside kind of the academic progress. It's a big chunk of work for us to do, hence it's going to take us the time to kind of do it. And we'll be working, I think we're working with PECs, or certainly that's the plan at the moment, to work with PECs to do some areas of that. But yeah, so green part is done. You know, communication, interaction, social, emotional, mental health, sensory and physical coming in the next 2 years. What we're saying to schools is if they are looking to move to this, then it might be best to wait till the end of this academic year before making that move, because it's a lot of work to kind of move away from what you've already done to this. Plus, if you have got P-scale students, certainly in year 1 and it's in year 2 and year 6, you still need to report P-scale results for this academic year. Okay. Is there an additional cost to the school if we've already got B squared? Answer is it depends on when you purchase. So what we try to do is be as fair as we can. If you've purchased recently, and I'll need to double check exactly when, but potentially you will be eligible for a free upgrade if you've bought within the window of kind of the Rocher review changes. We try to be as fair as we can, because we don't want people to move into one thing and then have to buy something else. But I can confirm what that date is. If you purchased after October 2016, then it would be free. And if you purchase before, then there's an upgrade cost. So it's not the same price you've paid already. It will be a portion of that at a kind of reduced price. Okay. Okay. Somebody's asked, are you having an involvement into the new Welsh curriculum following Donaldson's recommendations? That's not my area of expertise. I have heard it bandied about in the office, though. Again, I'm going to point you in the direction of Alex. I believe he is dealing with that, but I believe so is probably the closest answer I can give. But I'll just send Alex's email to you just in case. He'll be able to answer that. That's it. All right, no, that's it. I think I've answered all the questions. Unless anyone else has any more, whether written or verbally. Okay, no, that's fine. Thank you, Ali. Thank you for that. Well, as I say, we'll be making this available tomorrow. We'll get the recording out, and you can watch this at your leisure. Hopefully, it hasn't picked up any feedback, but I think what we'll do is we'll arrange another one, probably maybe next week, and I can learn from this, because if people have their microphones open and they've got background noise, then it does interfere. But I don't want to stop anyone from being able to ask questions, so I think we need to have a bit of a think about that. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, you can email Alex. My email I will send to you all as well. Feel free to come directly. We can organise online presentations if you want to go into greater detail, you want to look more specifically at the breakdown and exactly what we're doing. Some people like to really kind of go through everything in great detail. Quite happy to kind of show you that and go over one-to-one if you have any kind of more specific questions about how it would be used. We can call it an evening and we can all get back to watching TV and drinking wine, which is probably what I'll be doing when I get home. Okay.
Thanks for your time.
No, not a problem. Thank you. Thank you all for coming, especially on a Thursday in the evening. But yeah, okay. Well, lovely to speak to you all, and thank you for listening to me drivel on about this. And yeah, any questions, kind of come back to me. All right. Okay.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Thank you. No. Bye bye.